All right. Bonjour. Hello. Welcome to KBFT Virtual Music Fest interview sponsored by KBFT 89.9 FM, Boys Fort Tribal Radio, and the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Today we're here with a special guest, a Minnesota-based musician,
Recording in progress.
and he's a vocalist and songwriter of some of the world's most notable hard rock acts, such as Pyramaze, Avian, Balance of Power, and many more. He also has his own record label, Nightmare Records, and they've been around since the 1990s. And we're here to talk with him about his upcoming performance this Saturday, June 12th, 7 p.m. right here on KBFT, Facebook Live, and YouTube.
Exciting.
Hey, Lance, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited about the show coming up.
Yeah, me too. Like, this is like so awesome to have, for the station, we hardly get any hard rock acts. But
Really?
Yeah. And, I've had my eye on you for a really, really long time, I first saw you. Actually, I buy a lot of music on Amazon, like CDs and records and vinyl, and I'm a metalhead, and hard rock musician myself. But I bought some prog CDs from Amazon there, and this was like early 2000. I'm talking like 2003, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me a promo disc. It had all kinds of bands. There's probably like 20 bands on there, and Pyramaze was on there.
Oh,
and,
cool.
With that tune, Souls of Pain. And I listened to the whole CD. The only band that really stuck out was Pyramaze. It was because of your vocals.
Wow, cool. Thanks.
The song, that it kind of has a cool guitar lead kind of hook in there that starts off, and then your voice just takes it even further, man. It really reminded me of like something like Queensryche. Jeff Tate is really comparable, and I could really see like he's probably one of your influences, but
he was one of my earlier influences. Yeah.
I see a similarity, but you're like right up there, with some of the best vocalists in the world, I think.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah, I was inspired by the likes of Steve Walsh from Kansas and Steve Perry from Journey, and I love Brad Delp's voice from Boston, and I could go on and on and on, but the ones that stuck out to me were the guys that just could sing their butt off, and they had these high register, beautiful melodies, but they could reach the stratosphere, and that just was inspiring to me. Another one would be Geddy Lee. Early Rush really was a big thing for me. I loved them. And then I started playing out right out of high school in the clubs. And at the time, that was a long time ago, 1981. And, so things like the Cars were big at that time, not really what I was listening to. Styx and Journey and all that were definitely huge, but a little bit different than a lot of the stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Can you take us a little more through, some of the history, your background, and to get that voice that you have, what kind of training did you have to go through, or
trial and error? It was all just me trying to mimic other singers and having gigs and having to practice and get through the gigs, and having to build up the endurance and being able to hit the notes, so Yeah, it was just, it didn't start that way. You know, it really didn't. Um, I think I've always enjoyed singing along with good music. So it just was a matter of how much I focused on it and was doing it a lot more often. And if you're doing it in front of people and you're trying to entertain them, you're really focused. So you get better at it if you're doing it a lot. And we were playing a lot, you know. In the beginning, we were playing every weekend. And even though it was I'd say a C band, you know, a crummy little C club band, we were having a lot of fun and getting practice. You know, you just get in there and get your feet wet, keep doing it, and you get better.
Yeah, but your original music, it's not like any of the cover music that you started off playing. You know, you like
No,
you're
no, it's not.
you're
Well, you know, you evolve into different things, and the originals. Yeah, I mean, you start to write, and it's a labor. You don't really know where to start. You have no idea what you're doing, and you just start writing ideas down, and you know they're not very good, and you try and get them better, and nothing really clicks, and then one day it just starts working, you know, and you just keep at it until you go, oh, that's good, that's pretty good, I like that. I'll do more of that. You know? And the beautiful thing was, I mean, well, in the beginning when I was songwriting, it was before you could get inexpensive recording gear. So you were just in the rehearsal studio and you were just trying things, and you didn't really have a way to put it down even, you know, except for like a little cassette thing or something, and the quality was terrible. And so you didn't really get a true idea of what it is that you were writing and working from. Once recording gear started getting less expensive, or you could have a home studio, then you got that mirror right there, and every line that you put down, you go, oh yeah, that's all right, or oh, that's terrible, I got to do that again. I got to try and find something that works. uh Trying things, you know, and then and you go, oh, that's the one right there, that sounds cool.
Mhm.
That's pretty much it. That's what I do now. I just wrote a couple of songs this last week, and with a band that, you know, just wanted me on their album. So I wrote a couple lyrics and melodies, just finished up today, and they're way different than anything I've done in the past. But it was fun because it really allowed me to explore and just kind of experiment again, you know, and that's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool that you're writing with another band or another group.
Yeah.
Is anybody worth mentioning, or are you just kind of keeping it to?
It's not there yet. It's not something that I want to talk about yet. So we'll see. If At this point, it's really just me experimenting and seeing if they like it, and if they like it, then maybe we'll do something.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear the news. You just released an album, Reprogram, um,
Yeah.
self-titled album. You produced it through your record company, Nightmare Records. I checked. Yeah, I've been watching the video for Chaotica. And it's a really cool video, and it kind of ties in with the whole thing that we're going through now. You
Yeah.
know, with virus, and I just want to talk a little bit about that album and that video.
The album, well, and all the songs on the album are, I would almost say, seemingly are kind of almost like I prophesized them. It was kind of bizarre. I
Right.
wrote the album in 2018, and you know, it was just about, it was right after I just about died, because I had a surgery on my knee, which was a pretty routine scope, but I got a blood clot in my calf, and I didn't really know what it was. It just hurt, and I'm like, well, keep rubbing it, it's just a muscle cramp, and turns out a couple of days later I called, is this relevant? And they're like, get to the ER now. So I go to the ER and they give me a blood thinner, send me home. And so I take the blood thinner and they say I can pick up the prescription in the morning. But I woke up in the morning and I couldn't breathe. So it says it had broken up the blood clot in my leg and had gone into my lungs, and I had a triple pulmonary embolism from this blood clot in my leg. So I guess I'm told that 70% of people that have one blood clot in their lungs die. And I had 3. So I feel pretty fortunate to still be here. When I got to the hospital the second time, they said I had about 5 minutes left. So when I came home, I was counting my blessings after, spending several days in the hospital. And I'm like, I need to write an album. I'm really, life is kind of taken me off course from what I really enjoy. And I enjoy music. And I kind of had, Nightmare Records has started as the support for my career, and it kind of became the career. And I kind of was getting away from making music, and that's really my first love. And so I got selfish and I said, okay, I'm writing an album and screw everybody else. I gotta make some music. This is what I'm here to do. This is what I really want to focus on for the rest of my time here, is making music, not, packaging it and marketing it and selling it. That's not really, that's getting really tedious to me. I don't enjoy that nearly as much as making music anymore. So I wrote an album and I just sort of let out everything I was feeling, and then it sort of came true. It was weird.
Wow. I mean, that's crazy how you did kind of prophesize what was going to happen, in that song.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of other songs that are very much similar to it, like Wide Open, and I have to look up the song list right now, but they are all, essentially the album Reprogram was about that we're all programmed and we don't really realize it throughout the course of our lives, through media suggesting, our parents' influences, our genetics, anything that we've garnered, in our youth from teachers or from pastors or clergy or whatever church you're part of, and politics and whatever through your life, all of this, and the media, mostly news media. Blah, 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 blah. So we get, a lot of people just accept what they hear as truth. They don't really investigate it very much. They trust everyone and everything, and that just is said, and it's like, oh, that's the way it is, and so depending on how awesome or crap our childhood is, we got a lot of trauma, and we got a lot of bad information, and we got a lot of this, and we got a lot of that. It's all a jumbled thing in our subconscious, that our subconscious runs 95% of the program here in our body. It's all about the physical things, and it actually influences our conscious mind a lot. And so I realized that, we have biases and triggers and all kinds of things that are being directed from our subconscious mind. And that is all based on what we've experienced and the information that we've garnered throughout our lives as to what we believe and what we don't believe, and how we react to things. And our body just goes into safeguard mode, and self-defense mode whenever it hears, something that might trigger that. And there's a whole lot of fear triggering out there in the media, and anyway, so I just started realizing that, the stuff we're taught in schools, not really that important. It would be great if they'd focus on creativity and things that were more about expanding, people's minds and gifts, instead of giving them just these processes to be good little worker bees, but it'd be nice if, we could all be creative And, I guess not in service to self, but in service to others, and in a flow where we're all symbiotic and we're helping one another in creative ways. That'd be a lot better way to approach the school system, you know.
I totally agree with you, and I don't want to like knock the whole like school like school system and that whole process, but one thing that I observed going to attending public schools is the history.
Oh.
There's no Native American history that I got
Mm-mm.
in the school that I went to.
And even the history you did get was just written by the winners, or the people that that wanted to control the narrative. I'm sure it's not very accurate.
Yeah, Christopher Columbus discovered America.
Right. Right.
Discover something where people already live.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like it's no. History. I was so bored in history. I tell you, I just instinctivly knew that it was bullshit. I don't know how to say it any other way than that. And you can beat me out if you need to, but that's the way I look at it. It's like, well, truth is truth is a very subjective thing these days. It seems, you don't get the whole truth in anything. It's all sort of partial.
Mm-hmm.
And slanted and picked apart. I don't know.
So on Nightmare Records, like let's talk about Nightmare briefly. There's just like so many bands to list. Can you just talk about like the goal and the mindset of Nightmare Records and
the goal of Nightmare Records was to help. It started out just to help some of my friends get their music out there, and the people that I was a little more of a business savvy mind as a musician, not just somebody that, played music. I thought about, the marketing of the band. I thought about, the image of the band, the branding of a band and all that kind of stuff. I thought about before most of my friends, I guess. And so I decided, when Jem and I started getting calls from European distributors, because we got a write-up in Metal Edge magazine, all of a sudden European distributors were calling us for our disc. I'm like, hey, I got a bunch of friends in the area. They got music. Maybe I could parlay that into getting more of that out there and keep my feet wet in the distribution market, so that when I have a new thing come out, that I've got the avenue to roll it out into. And it just continued to grow. It was meant to be a sideline, but it grew and got a lot bigger than my career at one point. So I'm like, okay, I'm now inundated with this, and I got married, had a couple of kids, so it was a little easier to do the Nightmare thing than be out on the road and traveling the world. So that's kind of where I did the last 20 years. And well, not quite that, but I tried to do the road. I tried to do the road until about 2008. And I'm like, this is not working. But, at that point, I just started doing recording things and helping. In that time, I put out a lot of other bands' music and helped them promote their albums and got them, what they were deserving of in royalties and things like that, where a lot of record companies were taking advantage of the situation, it seemed. But I was still the small guy on the block. But, it worked out. I managed to get it out there. Get things out there and make new contacts, and pretty soon made better distribution networks, and was doing a lot of it on my own. And then I ended up getting a deal with um, Sony Red, and that made a big difference, huge difference. Got it out there, you know,
So
in a big way. So that was nice, and yeah, but then it became very consuming.
how many bands or how many acts are on Nightmare, and how many albums have you released on Nightmare?
Well, it started as an independent distribution company, so a lot of the stuff that I put out was actually distributed, and it wasn't really on the label. It was more distributed by Nightmare. And then I started putting out bands on the label around '96, but it was few and far between at first, and then I put out a couple of my own, and then started gradually building up the calendar, or rather the catalog of artists. I don't actually know how many were signed to the label, but I think probably around 100, 150 albums I've managed to put out on the label. Bands that are still active or have moved on to other labels. I don't have that many bands that are still active on the label because the last few years, a lot has gone on. I almost died. You knew that part, but my wife had colon surgery. My mother-in-law had not Alzheimer's, but
Life happens.
and she had to move in with us, and I was kind of a primary caretaker. Anyway, so the label got pushed to the side while life happened. And I haven't signed a lot of things as of lately, but if the right things come along, I'll get behind them again. But I've been enjoying focusing more on my music, and the label's still selling music, and it's still great music is out there on the label. So there's a huge back catalog of things to check out.
And you're still singing?
Yes, I'm still singing, and I love that. That's the voices. I'd actually, between 2010 and about 2015, I pretty much wasn't singing except on, the occasional recording things. I wasn't performing at all. I kind of, at one point, I'd been doing too many things at one time. I just got burnt. I had 3 bands I was in. I was doing Nightmare Records. I was trying to be a family man, and it wasn't working all. I had to let something go. So I quit music, but after, the thing, I realized I'm not happy without music in my life. I have to be playing music to be happy. It's just part of me. It's who I am. So I'm very blissfully back making noise.
We're glad to have you back.
Yeah.
We miss that voice. You need to bring it back. Love it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a joy. It definitely brings me joy and makes me a happier person. So I'm gonna continue to do it until I can't.
Well, you've been doing great stuff for your whole career, and it's hard for me to mention everything that you've done, but everything has been great.
There's been a lot of projects and a lot of bands, that I was actually in bands, and yeah, there's probably about 20, 23 hours worth of music out there that I've recorded. So lots to dig through.
Yeah, and too many to mention on here. Take all day. But some of the more popular ones, Avian, of course, with Dave Ellefson or ex Megadeth now.
But, newly X, then X, and then now newly X again. Yeah.
Unfortunately, man. But
I'm not going to comment on what I think of that.
Yeah, there's a place and time for that. But
yeah,
it has been huge in in the metal industry, and they're one of my. That's what I grew up listening to.
They were a huge band for me too. I love that.
Yeah, like ever since Peace Sells, and then Rust in Peace.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. But anyways, Where has music taken you? I know you've been to Prague Power with Pure Maze. What other notable shows have
I've
you?
been fortunate to, get out and tour Sweden, Denmark, Germany, France, the UK. And that's pretty much it. I'd never made it to Greece or Italy. I did go to the Czech Republic. We played some shows there. Where else? I think that's pretty much it. Never made it over to Japan, as just about the time that Balance of Power put out Book of Secrets. And that was my first album with them. Then there was a huge financial crash in Japan, and everything changed. The money for music changed, so touring pretty much didn't happen, unfortunately. So I didn't. It was that close. Haven't gone to South America yet either. I really want to do both of those places. I want to hit Brazil and Japan. That would be fun. I'd love to play Greece because they're a bunch of metalhead crazy mofos, and yeah, that'd be fun. Germany was fun. Scandinavia is great. France, played a bunch of festivals in all these places, and in the UK, and yeah, fun, good stuff.
Heck
Like
yeah.
to do more of that. I love the festivals because it's just such a cool hang with all the other bands and fans.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a different kind of vibe, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just this big family,
yeah, like a camaraderie.
Yeah, it's a big family thing, and it's awesome.
So great. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Lance King, check out his album Reprogram. Check out the video for Chaotica. Check out Pure Maze. Just some of the best vocals that I've ever heard in my life, and I'm not
Thank you
saying
so
that
much.
because you're like I grew up listening to you, so it's for me it's like a huge honor to sit here and chat with you today. And I've always admired you as a vocalist, and and you've inspired me, in um, my singing and my style a little bit
Oh,
here.
really? I'd love to hear some of your stuff, Chaz.
Great. Just type in War Bonnet. It's
On it. All right. That's I can remember that.
yeah. What can we expect on the show this Saturday, June 12th, 7 p.m.?
That's all right. I didn't hear the question.
Oh, what can we expect out of the performance this Saturday on June 12th, 7 p.m.?
Just loud guitars, complicated music, a little wailing on my part, singing. Good tunes. I threw in a Balance of Power song. We threw in I think we'll throw in a Queen song, and just for fun, and we'll see what it turns out to be, right? Hopefully you guys will enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the show, and I know the guys here are really looking forward to the show. It's something a little bit of different than we've had in the past. So,
Good deal.
glad we can support the state of Minnesota here, and support you and your new music.
Yeah, a couple of tunes from the previous album, my solo album, and from Reprogram as well. So I think there's about 45 minutes worth of music that we've got for you.
Awesome. Well, I've been playing your stuff on my show, off your new album, and yeah, I'm always supporting you and always rooting for you, and yeah, I just want to say we're really looking forward to the show, and it's been chatting with you.
We didn't have a whole lot of time to rehearse as a band, right? So we kind of decided that we would kind of rehearse online together and do that kind of thing, because Steve is way up in Fargo, and we got a couple other guys that are really busy in another cover band. They play in Arch Allies, and then Matt, my other guitar player that I co-wrote a few of the songs on my last album with, is here in town as well, and he's really busy with his job, and I've got things going on. But we managed to get together a couple of times, and it's sounded pretty good.
Awesome. Do you have any shows lined up in the future at all
that is the goal right now. You didn't know what was going to happen with COVID and all this stuff, so we kind of pulled back from the rehearsal schedule a lot. And then, people were like hungry, so the cover bands got the gigs first, because the band members wanted to make a little money. But festivals, I'm going to be looking at festivals right now, and it's probably not going to be this year, I don't think, but we're going to see what we can find. Who knows? There's fallouts all the time with international festivals. Maybe we'll get stuck in a couple of cool slots.
Yeah, I want to come down and check out one of your cover bands sometime. You guys play a lot in Buffalo.
Yeah, I used to play in Legacy of the Loud, and now I'm playing in a 70s cover band that's kind of fun because I'm doing a bunch of stuff I grew up with that I never played before, right? But that I listened to when I was younger. And so I'm having a lot of fun with that, and it's like a completely different vibe. So I'm getting a lot of practice and different voicings, and that's fun. And singing a lot more, which is helping my throat a lot more in my voice. So it's just getting stronger again. I'm back to 110% vocally, which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah, the voice is definitely
after taking 5 or 6 years off, I didn't realize how much it slipped, it's just, but a couple of years of practice back in, and it's back in full working order.
Awesome. Where can we find you and your music?
Where can you find me and my music? Well, you can Spotify, look up Lance King on Spotify. You can look up Balance Power or Pure Maze or Avian on Spotify or Pandora or, iTunes, Amazon, all those normal places. I mean, I just want to let everybody know streaming does not give artists really any money to speak of. Downloads are definitely the big thing for musicians. Musicians make way more on downloads, so do labels. Physical media, it costs a lot to make, costs a lot to ship. You get it back, there's not a lot of money in it, actually. It's more for the fans, and the streaming is more for the fans. But downloads, if you want to help support artists, download their stuff and pay for that. And because of the way that the market is set up, you set it and forget it, and artists can actually make money there.
All right, great. It was awesome chatting with you today. And
right on.
Keep in touch. I'm going to definitely come down there and watch you play live, or even maybe go down for a vocal session sometime.
Sweet. Yeah. I'm doing vocal lessons with a lot of people these days, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy teaching.
Yeah, and what better vocalist to get trained from than by the best? So,
all right, let's do it.
All right, Lance. We'll see you this Saturday.
Okay, see you then, man. Thanks, Chaz.
Awesome. Have a great day.